when I do my drawstring, I use paracord a lot of times. It's affordable, works great. And what I do, let me pull this out. This is on this weird windy thing. I'll show you how I do this. I'll probably cut this into another video. I take my paracord, I measure it to my tights. It's better to have a little too much than not enough. So I know, okay, my tight from waistband, half my waistband is this. So I double it over. This should be my full waistband. And then I double it over again. And I give it about a half length extra. So, and then I cut it. So, like I said, it's better to have too much than not enough. I got the paracord at Dollar Tree. Get back to the camera shot. In the automotive section, they have it. It's one of the best places I found to get it. I pull the white cording out because it's a pain. And I found it ties better with the white cording pulled out for what I'm using it for. And then you can keep it to use it for something. I just throw it away. Now, how do I run my drawstrings? I would recommend singeing the ends of this too, but so I use tweezers to do this, but my tweezers are missing evidently. Let me find my tweezers. I'll show you how I do this. Okay, found my tweezers and my lighter here. So once you cut your paracord, it's going to be frayed a bit. I would melt that down so it doesn't fray. It's going to be hot, so watch that. And then I roll mine a bit so it makes a nice little point. And I do that on both ends, of course. This stuff melts pretty easy, but it can get hot quick. My fingers are pretty callous, so it doesn't really bother me. But be careful because it is hot. And if it gets too hot and it melts, it will stick to your fingers and it'll burn the crap out of your finger. So, okay. So when I run my drawstring, some people do this beforehand, some people do it after, some people do it with a safety pin, a wire. What I found works for me, and this is just me, and this is something I can take anywhere. I get these cheap tweezers from Dollar Tree. You can get them in a set. This one has a little bit of an angle to it, and they make one that's straight. I have one that's straight that I like too, and I use that one a lot. I don't know where it's at. I think it's in my travel bag, so I'm just going to use these. But if you take your paracord and you just cinch it down in here and wedge it down in this, then you can take your tights or pants or hoodie or whatever, you can just whatever, and you can work that into the hole here. If I use the pointed ones, I point the edge up, work that through, and then ignore the dog in the background going crazy, barking at deer. So now you can work that through. Basically work that all the way around. The more you do it, the faster you get at it. Like I said, these are pretty big. And with the extra layers of material, just watch when you hit your seams, because sometimes you will get bunched up on the seam and get caught. You want to make sure you're pushing that tweezer closed, so when you hit a seam, you're not going through two different layers of material, if that makes sense. You're not scissoring through or splitting your tweezers over top of two layers of material or through the threading and getting hung up. essentially grab, pull. Anyway, so when you get to these bulky parts, sometimes they can be a pain, but if you wiggle it through there and work it through, it's usually fine. It's not too bad. And the more you do it, the more you'll get a feel for it. We're already halfway through. I'll edit this down so you don't have to watch the whole part. It is interesting to see how long it takes, though. Like I said, sometimes it takes a couple seconds. This is thick, so it's taking a little longer. And it's a, figure this is a 54-inch waist, so I'm pulling a lot of material. I think it's what the measurement was, 54 inches. For anybody watching wondering why I'm doing this in a mask, I wrestle. If you haven't watched any of my other videos, and I wrestle in a mask. I've wore this thing for 20 years almost. Well, over 20 years now. So, keeping in line with the tradition of the channel, I'm wearing it. Almost through. A lot of it's just really push the material down on the tweezers and pull, and then once you get to your other hole, you just find the end and pull it through. And then we have your drawstring. Some people will pull the drawstring. I've seen some guys do this. They'll pull the drawstring and get it evened up, and then they'll put a stitch in the back here to lock it in place. I think it's a pretty good idea too. I don't do that, just in case something happens and the drawstring breaks or something like that. But that's me. And then it's always a good idea to burn your excess threads down. Make sure everything looks nice and clean. Don't want anything looking gaudy. But that's how we do the drawstring. And these are technically done. So we have a nice set of tights. Design on the side. These are based off of, I believe, Cody Rhodes' design. I don't know, from what I understand, but they came out pretty nice. So, on to the next project.